Let's look at the financial institutions of Bangladesh. As per Bangladesh Bank, there are four types of financial institutions in Bangladesh. These are banks, non-bank financial institutions, insurance companies, and microfinance institutions. Let's look at the banks first. There are two broad types of bank in Bangladesh: casual banks and non-casual banks. Casual banks are established under Bank Order 1972, and non-casual banks are established for a special purpose, and these banks are not allowed to perform all functions of casual banks. Now we look at casual banks. There are 60 casual banks in Bangladesh. First of all, state-owned commercial banks. There are 6 state-owned commercial banks which are completely owned by the government of Bangladesh. For example, Sonali Bank is a state-owned commercial bank. Then there are specialized banks which are established for some specific objective like agricultural or industrial development. For example, Krishi Bank is a specialized bank in Bangladesh, and specialized banks are also fully or mostly owned by the government of Bangladesh. Then there are private commercial banks. There are 42 private commercial banks in Bangladesh. Private commercial banks can be categorized in two types: conventional private commercial banks and Islamic Sharia based private commercial banks. There are 34 conventional private commercial banks and 8 Islamic Sharia based private commercial banks. Islamic Sharia based private commercial banks follows follow the philosophies like profit loss sharing mode. And finally, there are 9 foreign commercial banks operating in Bangladesh. For example, Standard Chartered Bank is a foreign commercial bank in Bangladesh. There are 5 non-casual banks in Bangladesh. For example, Grameen Bank is a non-casual bank in Bangladesh. Now, let's look at non-bank financial institutions. Non-bank financial institutions are operating under Institution Act 1993. There are currently 34 non-bank financial institutions operating in Bangladesh. There are some differences between non-bank financial institutions and banks. These are as follows. First of all, these institutions are not allowed to issue check, pay orders, or demand draft. Then, these institutions are not allowed to receive demand deposits. Then, these institutions cannot be involved in foreign exchange financing. Then, these institutions can conduct their business operations with diversified financing modes like syndicated financing, bridge financing, and so on. Now let's look at the insurance companies. There are 62 insurance companies currently operating under Insurance Act 2010. Out of these 62 insurance companies, 18 are life insurance companies, including one foreign life insurance companies and one state-owned life insurance companies. There are also 44 general insurance companies, including one state-owned general insurance company. Insurance companies in Bangladesh provide different types of services like life insurance, reinsurance, microinsurance, and there are also insurance companies which follow Takaful or Islamic insurance policies. Now we look at microfinance institutions. Microfinance institutions in Bangladesh are a rapidly growing segment, especially in the rural area. There are thousands of microfinance institutions in Bangladesh, but there are only 10 large microfinance institutions in Bangladesh. and including these 10 large microfinance institutions and Grameen Bank, they represent 87% of total market share for savings of this sector and 81% of total outstanding loan of this sector. Among these microfinance institutions, Grameen Bank is not controlled by Microcredit Regulatory Authority and it is run under Grameen Bank Ordinance 1983. Then, in our next lecture, we will look at financial markets of Bangladesh.